go.
Are
There
we
we
there
go.
now?
Now we're
Oh, wow. So
it's
we
up.
have not been live this whole time.
Not at all. When I looked up, it was still blue. Now it's red. It's a go. We're
Wow.
this is live TV.
We're live now. You guys, we've had a whole how long? What time is it? 10-minute conversation. It
10 minute
wasn't live.
conversation. So this is live TV.
You know what? I'm glad you called that because after 10 minutes, I don't think Facebook allows you to even do it.
Right. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, wait a
I
second.
pressed the go live button. I thought I heard it, saw it say you're live.
God, I
And
did.
that's why I pulled the music in and pulled us, whatever. Okay. So,
Yeah,
you know what? I don't feel like doing all that over again.
it's all good.
So, we're going to just jump right into it. That means I don't know if my caller tried to call in. I don't know if that even matters, but um, talk to the people. I want to try to get this caller in. Tell them something. You guys will apologize, but we've had a whole 10-minute
Welcome,
conversation and wasn't even live with you guys.
welcome
So,
to the B2G Unity TV network. As Butterfly Evolution and Taylor Kennedy Media combine for better TV together. Broadcasting live on Tammy's side of the network. Tammy's side of the network tonight. Relationship table talk. Good stuff. We got a good one here tonight, so we're gonna dive in and working on some technical things at the same time. But hey, this is live TV, broadcasting everywhere from Egypt to Pakistan to the United States to all over. So good stuff. Right there on your Roku stick. Roku channel, Roku network via B2GUnityTV.com.
okay. So, you guys, we're testing something tonight. So, if you're with us, bear with us. So, to my caller, are you able to hear me? Hello? Okay. So, just a second here. Caller, are you able to hear us? It's not working. It's not working.
Get there, we'll get there.
I'm a little bit disappointed. Why did it work for us?
I don't know. And it was actually crystal clear too as well.
Um, so okay, let's try. Don't leave me, caller. Stay right there for me. Um, I don't get this. Okay, try now. Can you hear me now, caller? You can hear me loud and clear. Let me try something here.
I heard him. I could hear him through my headphones.
You could hear him through your headphones?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Just now
Just now. Yeah.
or all the time?
No, I just heard him when he said he could hear you. Say
You
you hear
do?
he say you hear Brother Trent.
Okay, so for our listeners, I don't care who you are, please comment in the section if you can hear both Trent and our caller. Can you say your name to them? Say hi. Okay, so can someone tell us if you can hear the caller? Send us a message, a comment.
It's kind of faint, but I could actually hear him through the headset.
Okay, that's probably because now say something, caller, because I've turned your volume up a little bit.
Perfect.
Really?
Yep, I could
Now
hear
I
him.
just need somebody to tell me if y'all can hear him. Come on, I see somebody out there. Please put in the comment if you can or cannot hear our caller, Nick. And he said it has been a wonderful day. So if you didn't hear that, isn't that what he said?
Oh, that's Nick. What's going on, Nick?
Yeah, that's Nick.
What's going on with your brother? Congratulations on the love story. I see you, Love Jones. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
That's so cool. I'm glad you can hear.
Yeah, I can
So,
hear him very clear.
okay. So I no one has sent a comment, that I've received. So what we'll do, Nick, we won't hold you. Thank you. What I'm going to do is when we play it back, we will see then if because if we could hear you on the video, then so can the others. I would assume, right? Right?
Right.
Okay. Okay. Super. Okay. Thank you. I owe you big time.
Good hearing your
All
voice,
right.
brother.
Thank you. Bye bye. Okay. So we're getting somewhere. Thankful. I'm thankful.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I feel a lot better because it's so important for me to be able to not just receive type comments. I want to hear y'all's voice. I want
Actually,
to
hold on. I'm glad that worked for you. That worked for you because you did an entire monologue.
whatever. Wait a minute. So Lamar J. Focus, were you able to hear our caller Nick? Please tell me if you said I can hear. So does that mean you could hear all of us, even including the caller? If you would tell me that, because if so, I'm about to sell this. Hey.
All we have to do is actually just make sure that the
I don't act like you did this. Don't act like don't do that. Don't act, you had nothing to do with this, my brother.
not at
She
all,
could
but you
hear
still have
Nick.
to perfect the
She could hear
vocals.
Nick. She could hear
Exactly.
Nick.
Good stuff.
Yay! I'm excited. Yes.
I'm so glad it worked out for you because you did a 10-minute monologue.
So we can get whatever. We can have people. That's so cool. Okay.
So we
All
can
of
have a
us.
call in
Thank
now.
you. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lamar J. Focus. So, update. We had a entire show. If you did not hear this, I did the
Turn
intro
on it.
about
Track
15
can,
minutes
baby.
ago. And we were not live because I guess I messed up. I don't know, whatever. But we're live now, and
It's
we
all
did our little test. So now we're going to start taking those callers here soon. We will get it perfected and make it happen. So tonight's topic was inspired by my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful first grandbaby. All right. So let me tell you the story. First, let me do this. Well, let me tell you the story first. So I had my grandbabies. Um, and tonight's topic is Grandma, what about me? She actually said, Grandma, what about Katsali? And that's her name. And so she references herself, Katsali, all the time. So um my neighbor, it was their birthday. My neighbor bought my granddaughter and my grandson both cars. Katsali's favorite color is yellow. She wants everything yellow. So she had a brand new yellow remote control car. And seemingly to me, she was doing really well with operating the car, 4 versus 2 years old for my grandson. So I got her going and I kind of went about my way as far as helping her brother, because he's two, learn how to, I had to help him more. In my eyes, he needed more help. And it seemed like maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes maybe. I don't know. I didn't wasn't keeping track of the time, but I heard these words and it wasn't just what I heard, it was the voice. I could tell that she felt some kind of way. And I've been mindful of the 4 year old, well, two back then, the 2 year old no longer being the baby, so to speak, because that's what we do when a new baby comes along. We kind of make the older baby, regardless of the age, the older child. And so you guys didn't hear this, but I was saying before we went live that I put so much on. I feel so blessed to be a grandmother, and I felt more blessed about being a grandmother because I felt like I was getting so much from them in this season in this space, and I was sharing with you guys before we went live, and I thought we were. So I guess I was sharing it with Trent only that this is one of my greatest blessings, maybe because it is, but maybe also because of where I am in life. Meaning I really do feel like I not feel like I am really more aware and have a better understanding of who I am, um, perfectly imperfect, because I am perfectly flawed, if that's a way to say it. But I am at a place to where I feel so blessed to be able to um, not just see the grandkids, but see them, see them enough to know and understand that this 2 year old is going to need just as much love now because there is a new kid on the block. There's a new kid on the block. So I do research myself when I see phases of her happening. Um, I read more, like maybe why is this happening? What causes this? And I say that to say, when I heard those words, Grandma, what about Katsali? I thought, oh boy, I have to go do something. Number one, I have to make this right. But I thought about, what if we as adults learned to ask for what we needed, to express that we were hurting and that we felt left out, regardless if it's that person's fault or not? Because in this time, in this season, while this happening, really she's got the thumbs up because I'm saying you can handle this. But how often do we think people can handle things just because of this? Like you will hear, or I've heard, that the strongest people sometimes need your smile too. They need your assistance. They need a pat on the back. So I thought about, what if we as adults were got to a place where we were vulnerable enough to say, I feel left out. And it has sometimes nothing to do with the person that we feel is leaving us out. It's more so about our own feelings, because I am clearly aware that my granddaughter has felt and feels some kind of way about this new kid on the block, her little brother. Because why? He's the one now, not now, but as a baby, she sees him going into, and I read about this because I was seeing signs of her just feeling left out. And I wanted to make sure I didn't add to that. So I read that even when, because their mom was breastfed, and so she used to be the baby that was going in with mommy being breastfed. Now the new baby comes along, he's the one going in, and as a mom or a grandmother, we don't think, okay, nothing to this, because we know what we're doing. But in their little minds, not all of them, but in their little minds, why can't I go? What about me? And so I also thought about the word, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Trent, that tells us to be childlike. And I thought, wow, what if this is part of what this means, if we will be more childlike in expressing our feelings? And because when we come as a child, we express feelings right away through crying before we know what feelings and emotions are. A child will tell you what, well, maybe not tell you what, but they will definitely let you know that something is happening, something is going on. So that remark from her, Grandma, what about Katsali? Because I was only helping her brother. And so how many times, as I turn it over to Brother Trent, how many times have you become constipated with your words? How many times do you not say what needs to be said? Whether I'm hurting, I don't know why I feel this way. You hurt my feelings. You offended me. You've heard me say this. You get in an argument with your significant other. They say, "Okay, I'm out. I'm leaving." It's it's easier for you to say, "I don't care, leave." But what you really want to say is, "Please don't go." Sometimes. But why is it easier for us to say, "I don't care, go"? So those are the things we're going to get into tonight and some more. But before we do that, my brother, speak the word.
So you talk about expressing feelings, right? Why is it so hard? Why we say things that we really don't mean, right? First, to know the feeling and emotion. We have to know ourselves. We have to understand the feelings. We have to get an understanding of the feeling. And which brings me back. I'll tell you. When I went back and I read your topic. I had an incident Sunday where my emotions was actually running rampant. But before I do that, but yeah, so before we could actually express ourselves as adults, we have to know exactly what we need to express. We have to know the feeling. We have to. That's why we always say, "Well, I really don't want you to leave, Tammy, but I'm gonna tell you to go because I don't understand the feeling that I'm having right now." You follow me? So that's why
Is
we
it that we don't understand though? Do you think that that's the case all the time, that we don't understand the feeling? Or are we afraid of the feeling?
a little bit of both, the feeling and being afraid. So let me get this out of the way first before she reject me. Let me reject
That's
her.
okay.
So yeah,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
the word, you guys, I was looking for, because when I believe that we get so caught up in let me move down a little bit. So caught up in our past traumatic experiences, and we bring them into our present and our future. And we have default actions or reactions rather than responses that come from someone or something that is in the past, but we still have those unresolved feelings or emotions that were and are attached to them, so much so that we bring them into our new circumstances, our new relationships, our new situations. And I totally agree with what you said about the understanding of it. I agree with that to this point. It's really hard to understand your feelings and emotions if you don't understand yourself.
There
If
you
you
go.
don't know, if you've not, and that's what we're doing, you guys. Well, that's what we're not doing. We're not taking the time. We have all of these fillers and distractions, so much so that you will go, not you, but some people will go to the extreme to avoid having to say, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. This is not okay. There are days I wake up, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And I want to always be clear that just because I'm here, I'm sitting on this side, I'm not always okay. But I know when I'm not okay. I know when I'm not okay. And that's okay. Where before not being not being okay would take me off the planet for weeks.
Here's the thing, though, right? The biggest fear we'll ever have to face and get over is ourselves.
Mm,
That's the biggest fear. And anything, we stay inside of our heads. We're all human. We stay inside of our heads. But the biggest fear you'll ever get over is yourself. Once you get over that hump, you can get over anything else. You can have that tough conversation. You can have that very emotional conversation. But you got to get over yourself first. But here, I want to talk about this for a second. So Sunday, this past Sunday, I had an issue with the neighbor. Right, every Sunday morning, I take Kobe and do a free walk without the leash and whatnot. So this particular Sunday, I didn't go out into the backyard. I went out the front door, and I have a pretty big lawn in front, out front. And so I looked to my right as Kobe's coming behind me out of the door. There's a pit bull tied to my fence. So as he when he saw me, he was on the leash so long to where the pit bull came to the middle of my yard. Right,
mm,
instantly I thought about Kobe and I rushed him back. I rushed him back into the house. Rushed him back into the house. Went to get my pouch where the Nina is. So I went, got my Nina. So I walked over, and I was heated at this time. I was very emotional with the thought of this dog attacking me or attacking Kobe. Like how am I gonna get him away from Kobe? Because Kobe's not that type of dog. He's a trained, he's a service dog. He's not an attack dog. So I was very emotional. So when I knocked on the door, him and his buddy, he's in there cutting his hair, doing whatever they were doing. And the moment he opened the door, I was very aggressive to the point to where it frightened him. I was real aggressive because I was on the defense, especially when he started saying, "Well, my dog's really not light." I'm like, "Hey, you can't tell me how your dog is when he rushed me. He came forward toward me in an aggressive manner." So I was heated. I was very heated, and I kind of got disrespectful. So today, before doing your show, I saw the guy over to my neighbor's house again. So I called him over to my side. He came onto my lawn. I said, "Hey man, let me talk to you for a second." He was kind of reluctant to come because he didn't know how it was gonna come at him. So I said, like a man, as a man, I said, I apologize for coming in hot. I said, I had some time to think about it, and I was very emotional when I approached you. So I apologize for coming in hot, but your dog kind of spooked me because I didn't know there would be someone in my yard. It kind of startled me, and I took the aggression out on you. I really want to take it out on your dog, but my apologies. I was very emotional. I lost all control. Very emotional with the thought of the dog attacked me. So as like a man, when I saw him, I fixed it and I corrected it. I was very emotional.
But you know what? So I'm glad you brought that up because we're not going to always, that's just life happens.
Yeah,
And no matter how much we practice it, I don't feel like we're always going to be in that place where we are always
right,
responding in a healthy manner. And so we have to give ourselves grace because we
right.
are human and we are imperfect people.
'Cause-
So I think that's a very natural emotional response.
right.
And what it may allow for the next time is where you may, I have this thing where with my thoughts, where I feel like this is what I do for me when, especially when, because I can go there, like I can truly go there like this, but it's because when I go there like this, it seems like I went there like this to others, but I've been gradually giving you grace in my mind. I've been gradually heating up. You've just missed it all. And now that I'm here, this is what you get. But there are times where I have that instant, and that would have been one for me.
And you
That
know
would have
what?
been
And what you saying that it was a gradual build up for me as well. And I'll tell you why. I took all my frustration out on his company when I've had conversations with him before
there
about
you
your
go.
company is not my company, homie.
Right. There you go. So
Everything
yeah,
I do in order. Your company is not my company. I don't need anything on my property. Period. So
right.
that's where
So I wouldn't deem that or to anybody else like that that's natural. Um I'm talking about the emotional unhealthiness or the inability to express ourselves
I got
effectively
I
or
see
our
what
emotions effectively
right.
when we again constipated with those words. There's a definition that I want to read here. Let me get it up there. Okay. So emotion, a natural instinctive and instinctive means without conscious thought by natural instinct. So it's a natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, and or relationship with others. I also say not just with others, but with yourself as well. But what one of the most important parts in this definition is without conscious thought. It's
Right.
your natural instinct. And sometimes that that you have to learn, not sometimes. We must become conscious about our thoughts. And what I was going to say is I imagine with my thoughts that I'm pulling up to a traffic light that's always red. I control it as far as it when it goes to yellow and when it goes to green. So I put my thoughts on stop if I have the time. Now, in Brother Trent's situation, I'd have been the same way. And then, okay, well, it's like taking him captive at that red light. In
Right.
my yellow phase, I'm looking around. Okay, what is this thought about? Is it about me? Where is it coming from? Am I in an emotional state? Am I tired? Am I, oh, this is one. Am I hangry? Because if I get hungry, I'm a whole nother person. Why did I say that?
I didn't say
So,
nothing. I didn't say a word.
because Trent swears every time he talks to me, I'm eating. And he's probably
It's the
right.
truth.
I'm an
Either
eater.
you go
Okay.
and get food, coming back from getting food, or eating food.
Because I don't want to get hangry. Because it does. It changes me. But see, I know that. So again, just like with Zolly, Grandma, what about me? It's when you love people and when you care for people, care for them, even as adults, you guys. I have some things about me that you won't understand that will bother me. And that's okay. Like there's some things that I'm not going to change because I realize they're part of my DNA. That's just who I am. Now, I can be mindful of those things and try to do better about improving on them. But just say that I got to do this and got to do this because this is how you think I should be. No, absolutely not. So when someone cares about you and when you care about them, equally, I should work to understand your kookiness, your kooky emotions, the ones that I don't understand why what I do or why this thing makes you feel like Zolly. What about me? Because it wasn't about her in my eyesight. It wasn't about her. But once she expressed it, then I am responsible. I am responsible for showing up and trying to make this thing right in the best way that I can. And what if we did that with adults? What if we did that with each other? And it's grace. I guess the word I think about is grace.
True.
It's grace.
True.
What do you think about this? Especially this definition where it talks about without conscious thought.
As far as that's the definition for emotionals, or what?
Right. A natural instinctive, and the instinctive means without conscious thought.
Yeah, because
So by natural instinct.
I mean it's dead on because when I went out the door, when I was filled with rage and anger at that point, I didn't think twice about going to get that thing, and I didn't think twice about, hey, I'm on a walking cane here. How much can I do? How much damage can I do to defend myself with design? I didn't even think about it. I did not give it no thought. Honestly, it didn't come on. It didn't come to mind again until the following day when I had time to sit with it. And to be honest, I felt kind of bad because I really
Okay.
went in.
I get that one, but see, we got to get that one a pass. So let's create one. Because when I think about the without conscious thought, I'm thinking about, say, you're in a relationship and you guys are in a heated conversation about something, about, I don't know, you guys are in having a disagreement.
Right.
And maybe it's an area of pain for you that your mate may not really understand and know about. How do you express emotions? How do you not respond, um or a better way to put it, how do you consciously, how do you take over and be effective in expressing your emotions?
Me personally, I redirect when I know it's something that's really troubling me. I redirect. Not only do I redirect, I get quiet for some time. Not a long period of time, but just allow me to gather myself and collect my
Okay,
thoughts.
I gotta write that down. Say that one more time.
I tell him, you're not his head work. What did I say?
I was trying to hit. You said, okay, you get quiet.
Yeah, I get quiet. I get quiet and I redirect. I
Okay,
redirect first and then I get quiet. Not for a
so
long period of time, but just
so
just enough to
that's the
gather
part I wanted to hear about the
just,
quiet, because
just to
if
gather myself.
if your if your mate, if the person, your significant other, understands that this is what he does. He gets quiet because if your mate does not know that, she can take offense to that
Your
quietness.
quietness, right?
And
Absolutely.
that's what I'm that's a good little stoplight, traffic light for us to stop at, because that's what I mean. We have to know who we are, and you can't just get. I hear that a lot when I'm working with couples, and especially mostly from the women. Well, he'll get mad and he won't say anything, and the man will be like, "That's what I have to do. I have
See,
to back up."
see, my quietness is out, not of stubbornness. My quietness is actually to gather myself
Reflection, a
and to
reflection of
make
it all.
sure. Let me deal with myself first. Then I could actually address the issue at hand. So
And
let me deal just like let's just go ahead and bring this other thing back into play. I dealt with myself first after the incident. Then I went back to the guy and I apologized to him for coming in hot. So that's
but
better
would the
for me.
difference be in the other situation? Because again, I think that's a fair
You're saying it's a natural reaction.
unhealthy emotion,
Yeah,
right?
but still, that's just how I am these days. That's how I'm wired now. It's like, let me gather myself first. Let me deal with myself first.
Have you always been that way?
No,
So when you were not, when you were okay, now that you are now, so you're saying you do step back now
yeah,
to reflect.
to
So
reflect, absolutely.
in a relationship, would you express that hey,
I have.
before you just walked away and was quiet, would you make sure that the persons that they know this is how I um
I've done this. Actually,
juggle
I've
this?
done that recently, like
Okay.
a year and a
Okay.
half. Say, hey, this is me. This is what I do. But let me deal with some things with myself. I'm always explaining myself because I don't want my partner feeling a certain way. So the girl I was dealing with, I explained to her how I was. She didn't take it well, but it's just the way it is. But at least I expressed myself and say, hey, we'll address this, but give me some time. And I
Right.
think that's fair. I mean, I said it, I brought it up. Hey, let me deal with this, and we'll deal with it, but at another time. It don't have to be right then and there because let's just say this, man. We all know that cooler heads prevail. So if I'm going in, if she's heated and I'm heated, we're not gonna get anything done. Nothing,
Right.
nothing. So I'd rather cool off. Let me gather my thoughts because I don't want to hurt your feelings. So let me gather my thoughts first. Now, before the old Trent, I would express that. I'd be like, I don't give a damn. Let her feel what she feel. But now I'm
Mm,
more considerate. I'm more nurturing. Like, hey, let me work through this.
right.
So when I work through it, I'll be able to help you to work through it together. We can work through it together after that. Once I get it and get a clear understanding of where you're coming from.
Okay.
So
So
I'm more
there's this.
patient now. I'm more patient with both.
I used to be that the person you need now, like to be able to step back. And I'm not saying always now, but before, that was always my reaction. I won't say response because it was very unhealthy. Like I would indirectly try to get people to just know. I felt like you should, if you should know me, and you should know that how I feel or how I'm feeling right now, and you should know what to do. Again, that was a long time ago. That was then. And when I felt like, when I got to that point and I felt like, oh, they just really don't care. And I want to share a story that reminds me of a story. They really don't care about me or what I'm going through. And I would go, literally, you guys, I could go months in the same house with someone and be like, you don't exist. That's crazy.
I got a
That's
couple comments
crazy.
coming in.
That's crazy. I'm gonna get you guys in just a second. Now, I am the one that I feel like it doesn't always happen, that it's better to go ahead and let's at least put these things on the table,
Right.
and then we can come back. But
I mean, that's what
let's
you
at
do. You
least
gotta
get them
understand,
out.
man. you get a better understanding of the situation. You get a better understanding of your partner when you actually address it and then come back to it. So if that's truly your person, they're gonna understand. If they're not your person, they're gonna be antsy pantsy and all this other stuff. But if I'm expressing to you like, hey, look, give me a second. If I'm expressing, apparently I'm interested. Apparently I care. If I'm expressing, hey, listen, give me a second. Let me gather myself first because I don't want this to go overboard.
But do you know how many people don't say that? Who don't
Oh,
say, and that will change everything about what's going on. If someone just said, if someone, if someone just said, hey, I need a minute here. But if that person does not, then are we emotionally healthy enough to say, or can we be vulnerable enough to say, hey, you being quiet right now is really affecting me
right.
emotionally. What is this about? We
In a
don't do that.
perfect
And
world, that'd take place, but we know that's not going to happen.
right, right. But hey, if we know, if you hear, if you take it in, then perhaps we can do better.
Right.
Because if I can come from that place, y'all, where I would literally be like you do not exist,
Well, you
then
cool.
I'm telling you anybody can't. Because that was my default emotion. That was
Right.
my default emotion. So let's get, and then don't let me forget to tell the story, to share a story that I heard. So I think I said hi slash hi Lamar J Focus. Um, hey, Aunt Vivian Cody. Hi, thank you for listening. Y'all, my aunt is listening.
Good stuff. Good.
Slash is on. Um, Slash says, let me go back. So Aunt Vivian says, outstanding guidance can come out of the mouth of babies. She's calling us babies.
That's good stuff. I appreciate that.
See, Slash says, good evening, my B2G fam. Slash, I don't know if you got to hear this, but we actually took a call.
Definitely did.
All
Definitely
my stuff, all on me. I figured it out.
did. She did. She did. She did.
Um, So let's see. Slash says, "Ayo, Mr. Epic was that the purple Crown Royal? Oh, pouch or the new green one? I think he's saying, did your when you went off on the neighbor, did that have anything to do with the? I don't know. Maybe that's what he's saying.
No, no, the pouch. No, he's asking me about the pouch. I think I still
I
have
didn't
it.
see a pouch.
No, I don't. These days, when I'm walking Kobe out
Oh,
by
when
myself,
you to protect yourself. Got
yeah,
it. Okay, gotcha. Um, He says, "Oh no, the silent treatment is a silent killer, not Miss Tammy." Yes, Miss Tammy. I keep telling you, Miss
Miss
Tammy ain't
Tammy will
always
close
been
doors.
where she is
I'll put
now.
padlocks on it.
Shoot, I'm telling you, I used to be something else. I still am, but it's in a better way. I'm learning, not I've learned. I am constantly
Right,
learning about myself and trying to hold myself accountable in any situation rather
right,
than say, you should do this, you should do that, I need this, I want this.
right.
When you care about yourself, when you love yourself,
You're gonna do
or
that
when you
exactly.
fall
That's
in
what I'm
love with
talking about
yourself,
now.
hold on, you fall in love with people and you want for them what you want for you. I'm telling you guys, it falling in love with yourself and becoming more aware and making that a daily exercise, I'm telling you, not only do you fall in love with yourself, you fall in love more with God. Like, how is that even possible? How is it possible to love God more? But you do. You love people more. Now, that don't mean that I like everybody every day. Nah, nah.
You know what I call that? I call that a healthy trait. That's a healthy trait, and it
A
feels so
healthy
good.
trait
A
of what?
healthy trait,
Loving.
like almost like a toxic trait, but it's a healthy trait. You follow me?
Which
That's a
one?
healthy
What?
trait. When
What is?
a healthy trait is when you gather yourself, you get quiet, and you're thinking you're being considerate of other people's feelings. And hey, let's hold
Okay.
on a second. Give me a second. That's a healthy trait. Like the situation on Sunday. That's a healthy trait. When I double back and apologize to the guy for coming in hot, that's a healthy trait. I felt so much better. I came back in and I felt so much better once I just got the guy and say, "Hey man, I'm not here to harm you. I just want you to know that I apologize as a man for coming in hot on you. But your
Yeah.
dog story.
Yeah.
That's a healthy trait."
And you guys, you know what? If let me share that story before I forget it. So, and I wish I could remember the guy's name, but I don't. Um, he is he's a twin, and he's a psychologist. He and his brother, they're psychologists, and he had gone away to do more study to do more practicing in his studies or whatever, right? And so of course they're twins, so they have the same birthday, and they talked every day. They were twins and brothers who talked every day. So they had planned to talk the next day, which was their birthday. Well, the twin who had gone away, for whatever reason, was expecting his, well, I guess that's how they summed it up before they got off the call the day before, that he was going to call the brother that had gone away. Well, the call didn't happen. So this brother, psychologist now, this brother was all in his feelings like, well, I can't believe he didn't call. It's our birthday. And he said, I sat down, like I didn't hear from him all day. I sat down in my feelings, and what I decided out of all that, like we've had a whole lifetime together. We loved on each other, we be together, we talked every day up until this day. But when he sat in his emotions because that call didn't come, he came up with, well, I guess he doesn't love me like I love him, right?
Mm,
So the next morning he gets up. He recognizes he had knocked the phone off the hook. It wasn't all the way down on the hook.
mm,
That's why the call didn't come in. So as soon as he made sure it was on the hook, he said the phone rang and it was his brother. Frantic, disturbed, like, what is going on? Why aren't you answering this call? So the brother shared his thoughts, his emotions. Well, you didn't call, and I just thought maybe you were hanging out with your friends and da 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 da. And he said his brother's response was, well, I get all that, but if I didn't call you, why didn't you call me?
yeah.
Haven't we all been there?
Mm,
Haven't we all been there? You want to talk to someone, you need to talk to them, but you're in your head and you're thinking, well, they can call me. Why do I have to call them? And now this is twins who have not had any issues. That thing went south just like that. The emotions went there. Now, what if this twin brother, what if something had happened to him? But we could get so caught up in me, 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 me. He didn't call me on my birthday. And he said he would on our birthday. And he said he would. And I'll give you one more. I'm gonna turn it over to you. You guys have probably heard this one before. And this was actually a friend of mine. She had had some really bad times with guys, relationship wise, liars, cheaters, whatever. She met this guy who was a stand up guy. He never once lied to her. If he said he was going to be there, he was there. If he said he was going to do it, he did it. He said he was going to call back, he called back. But one night, they had planned to go to the movies. He was going to pick her up. They got off the phone. He never showed up. She never called to check. She went instantly. He's just like the others. Well, y'all, he wasn't. He had a heart attack and died
wow.
after they got off the phone. And she didn't find it out until days later from his family because they found him in the apartment. Now, get that. He never did anything that gave her a reason to doubt him up to that point that he did not show up. But it's easier for us to go back to that default. I've been hurt, I've been lied to, I've been cheated on. What would make him different? Even though his actions made him different mentally, emotionally, it did not for her.
You know, for that entire story, you know what I took from that when you talk about the young lady? She hadn't got over the hump of herself. she hadn't got over the hump of the hurt and the pain of the past. So she was still living in the past while she had to move on to a future with this guy. So everything that she needed to address hadn't been properly addressed. Because if it had, she would have went straight to the negative and saying, "Well, this guy is just like everyone else." So
Hmm.
she was still pulling from her past. She's still pulling that pain from her past, bringing it forward. And how many times have we all done that before?
I just put something on the board for you. Um, so let me go back to hold on one second, you guys. So, okay. Um, let me say this, and this you made me think about this. So emotions, you guys, they're it's not a bad thing. They are actually mandatory, necessary. We need emotions to interact with each other, to learn, to grow.
Right.
But for me, they become, and I put this up there, they become unhealthy when we respond to new people. That's what Brother Trent just said in his words. New occurrences from the past and from unresolved traumatic experiences. When we make it our default, no matter what we see and no
It's
matter
normal.
the evidence, um, we are going to have that default reaction because we've not healed.
Exactly.
We've not healed. And so that happens more today than we will ever know. And so
You know
you
what I
bring
want to
your past
normalize?
incidents and feelings, you let them control your future, everything.
You
Everything.
want to, you know what I want to normalize? I want to normalize healthy traits. We always talk about toxic traits. We should normalize healthy traits. It's in you. It's in within everyone. It's in within every one of us. It's in there. We just got to get over the hump or get over ourselves to normalize a healthy trait. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to do the work.
And
It's
we've talked about, why do you think people, I know we've talked about this before, but why do you feel that we're not doing the work? Or why do you feel that it's difficult for people to do the work?
why? Because toxic traits are, to be honest with you, you've been in something so long, you've been in that mud for so long, it start to feel good to you and you start getting accustomed to it. It's a natural feeling to you. So you're comfortable where you normalize toxic traits and look at people who's actually giving healthy traits as abnormal. Nah, they're the normal ones, but you're still in the delusional state. You follow me?
Yeah, I do. And I feel I think we're saying the same thing just in different ways. Sometimes it is our coping mechanism and that we just don't trust people, that there's been a time where we gave all of who we were, that we thought and that was rejected. And believe, and you guys, we cannot, I know this that we could stay here forever because we've not even talked about the childhood experiences that get you to this point. So you go from that childhood experiences, and let's just be honest here, and not throwing shade on any parent, because I'm a parent, and you guys, in this space, I look back and boy, I did so many things wrong, and that's why it's so important for me to um, make sure that I hear and I see and I value my grandbabies right where they are, even in their temper tantrum. There's something there for you to do, if not, but get down with them and hold them until they're able to express. If you give them enough time, I'm not saying that kids are not to be disciplined, because trust me, they are disciplined. It's just not my first default. It's not what I go to. Now, after a couple of times, we go in there. But I really want to know, what are you feeling right now? This little person in this big world. And sometimes we are still little people, little adults. We're still that child. We're still stuck in a traumatic experience that's not happening now, but it's happening within us. Nobody ever said it's okay. Nobody ever said I'm sorry. Nobody ever said that if I could do it all over again, I would do it different. Imagine if we as parents would just say, I did the best I could with what I had. But if I could do it all over again, I would say this more. I would do this more.
Yeah, it's true. But you know what? I mean, when you think about it, right? Our parents, you know, all the information that's at our disposal weren't at their disposal. So at some point, we have to give those folks some type of grace because
Absolutely. That's why I said at the beginning that,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, they didn't know, and I had to come to the realization of that with my father. Even though he was a wonderful provider, a fantastic provider, but there are tools that he did not get. If that was information that he didn't have access to on parenting and whatnot. So I had to learn along the way that man, I should have gave him a little more grace than I did.
But also, and it's not always about, because I'll say this again, there's nothing new under the sun. What I've gone through or what I feel has been traumatic for me and that it has kept me back, someone else has had the same
Absolutely,
experience, and they've glided through it. It was nothing to them. So that's the reason you have to know what your triggers are, what your pain is, what is causing your inability to effectively, um, I guess, express your emotions in a healthy manner, or to get to that place where you are learning to. Because
right.
the longer and the more we avoid who we are, how we were created, and what we were created for. And I think you said it earlier. When I don't know how you said it, but I think I remember you saying something like this. For me, I'm saying you're not fighting people, you're not fighting the world, you're fighting yourself. And
Fighting
when you
yourself.
stop right where you are and see, this is who I am, this is all my shit, this is my stuff, this is my stuff. I'm
That's real.
owning it and I'm going to deal with it so that I can have the relationships that I want, starting with myself. Because you can expect anyone to have that relationship with you, or to have a healthy. And remember, healthy does not mean perfect.
That's
You
right.
cannot have that with anyone else unless you first have it with yourself.
I'm
And
gonna
then from
say
there, it's to God. We got
I'm
to
gonna
come at
say
you.
something completely off cuff. I'm gonna say something completely off cuff. They probably gonna your viewers are probably gonna look at me like I was crazy, right? But
You are.
but you love me to death. Knock it off. So here we go. But for me, it was more harder for me to get over myself than to get out of that wheelchair. Getting out of the wheelchair was a cakewalk for me. Getting out of the wheelchair, learning to walk again, learning to do things with this different ability was a cakewalk for me. But the only way I was able to do that was when I got over myself. Everything became easy. Once I hurdled myself, I was good. That's why it appeared to be, wow, he's walking so quick and fast and he's doing well, blah, blah, blah. That's because I got over myself. So the wheelchair became secondary. Like, okay, I can get over anything. Got over myself. I got over
Mhm.
that mess. So the wheelchair wasn't the stumbling block for me. It was myself. I was tripping over
Mhm.
myself
All the time. That's what we do all the time.
all the
Until, and I'm not saying just you, me too. Like until, um, you guys, I can remember. I'm so serious. I can remember the day that I feel like I started this journey. And it was. I think we may have touched on it in our last show about the spiritual seasons. I think.
time.
Um, it was the first time I felt as if I encountered, or that I was able to truly understand nature, was when
Yeah,
I was walking, and that was walking had become my medicine, because I was in a dark place at that time, very dark place. Um and that particular day, I just needed to get out. I just needed to get out. And that's what I did. I started walking. And I felt the wind felt as if it was God's very voice, his very own voice. It felt as if he was speaking to me through that wind. Like I'm looking and I'm noticing that I can feel this wind. I see it's blowing things, it's blowing trash, it's blowing leaves, my hair, it's blowing things. It can move things, but I cannot see it. I can only see what it does, the effects of it. I can only see that. And that's the day that I felt like I had this moment, this transforming moment. And that's been so long ago. That's been so long till I feel like I should say I should be healed now. Like I should be at that place. But to me, you guys, it's a forever journey. It's a forever journey that you have to be intentional about
It's life, right?
every single day.
It's life.
Every day.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. And for our listeners as well. Why is it difficult? And I don't know if I asked this, I may have, but I want to ask it specifically in this way. Why is it difficult for people, for us, to express those emotions? Especially the ones that, like what Dolly said, Grandma, what about me?
In my personal opinion, because in the end, we'll still have to end up facing ourselves as we do. So we'll have to face ourselves. And most, I know for me personally, I didn't want to face myself for a very long time. So those difficult conversations and emotions and all that stuff, I didn't want to deal with that because I would end up dealing with myself. Again, it always
Mhm.
resort back to us.
I agree. I feel like most people put it back on the other person, as to why they feel that they can't express
They
it.
deflect. They
Right,
just deflect a
right.
lot. They just deflect a
I,
lot. No, you take that over there. I don't
oh
want none
yeah,
of
you'll
that.
make it all about you'll make the person, if it's a really good person who really cares about people deeply, we're scarring them.
Exactly.
We leave scars on them that way. I
Right.
also think that oftentimes, you guys, because we've not tapped into ourselves, or we're not tapping into ourselves enough, that we are not really sure about what we feel. Like, I don't even know if I understand what I feel. Why am I feeling this way? That we question so much about the feelings and the emotions, we question them without researching or searching for the knowledge, or searching for where is it coming from? Like, why is that my default? Sometimes we don't even realize that it is a default mechanism for us. We don't even understand that. So if you don't understand what you feel, I also think it's about fear of rejection, fear of being hurt, fear of being judged, especially by the people that we care about, but also about people that we're trying to gain their what's the word? Because I think we spend too much time trying to pull people into our circle,
Mhm.
opposed to loving the people who are in our circle, who's always been there. Like, we get such, it's gratification. Like, we want to, okay, I got you. I know that you've shown yourself approved that you love me. But why does this person reject me? Why does this person not call me? Why does this person not do this? And there are people right there just loving the hell out of you.
Right.
And you pay them no attention. So I think it has a lot. It goes back to what you said, for sure. And then oftentimes people feel like, oh, it makes them weak if
Right.
they're going to express, or vulnerable. And then I think people, again, just afraid to do so. Afraid. And they say, it feels more comfortable here because I know here I think I'm going to be hurt anyway. So I'll just stay here. I'll just stay right here. I'm not going to tell you how I really feel. I think they feel like, what difference is it going to make? So we have a comment. Let's see. Let's see. We have a couple. I'm gonna catch up. Um, Okay, let me go back. Okay, slashes. Don't want to read what Slash said again about me being silent. So tomorrow isn't, let's put this one out. Okay. Slash says tomorrow isn't promised. The silent treatment lines of communication, which isn't the key. Understanding is a major key. Exactly. And we certainly don't get that in moments of silence. We and I agree with you. That's one that's a time where I really regret being that type of person. But you guys, it was my truth and it came from wounds. I was wounded. I was wounded. I was bleeding out. I was avoiding every painful situation that life had brought me, and I was making excuses. Period. Period. That's it. That I mean, that's all on me. So totally agree. We have Lamar J. Focus says toxic parents. I remind myself to not become. Amen to that. You guys, I love grandparenting so much till I want to start a business where I can just be and you can adopt me as a grandparent. Like if you need a grandparent for your child for a day, I'll come keep them, take them out. It's
Speak
so
for yourself.
precious.
Speak for yourself.
I love it. I'm telling you. The kids, they are so alive
They
and
are.
precious and innocent and spongy and there's just no words. There's just no words. There's just no words. Let's see. Lamar J. Focus says, I took my family out to dinner and my mother said our family treated her like dirt. I asked her, is that why you treat whoa, wait a minute. I gotta start over. I took my family out to dinner and my mother said our family treated her like dirt. I asked her, is that why you treat me the way that you do? She said, you better apologize. I blew it off. Seriously? Is this
Mm.
real? Now that's real talk. I mean, just to be able to ask that question. But if you look, y'all, let's look at this again if you don't mind. Let's use this one as an example. Trent, what are you getting from this? What would be your thoughts?
I can't see it. Read it for me one more time.
So I took my family out to dinner, and my mother said our family treated her like dirt. I asked her, is that why you treat me the way that you do? She said, you better apologize. I blew it off.
That this is he's talking about speaking of his mother.
Yes. I took my family out to dinner, and my mother said, our family treated her like dirt. I
Mhm.
asked her, is that why you treat me the way that you do? She said, you better apologize. And I blew it off.
It's- if he asked her a direct question, she started to redirect. You better apologize to me. He might have a valid point here by asking that question.
And
You
not
follow
getting an
me?
answer. That the
Exactly.
answer was, you better apologize to me for
Yeah,
asking that question. Right.
she automatically redirected and pushed it
Right.
back on him.
And this was kind of like Dolly's question to me.
Exactly.
What about me, grandma? What about
Exactly.
me? And so you guys, when people ask the questions, it doesn't matter. I know of one parent who shared this with me that she did go back and apologize, as I was talking earlier, um, to her son. And she said, I'm sorry. If I could do it all over again, I would do it so different. And it was all he needed. It was as if she said that his heart, it was as if he opened up. It just made all the difference in the world to him to hear her say that.
And on the flip side of that, on the flip side of that, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. On the flip side of that, we have to be okay if we never get that I'm sorry, that apology or anything like that. We have to be okay with that. You have to know exactly who you're dealing with. Like if you're dealing with a person who will not set that pride aside and apologize, you have to know that. You have to know the person that you're dealing with and say, okay, I'm not going to get that. So I better move on. I
That's
better,
a good way to look at it. And you know what? That person, it's hard, it's difficult to get dialogue or answers from, and let's look at this again, particularly this person says, my family, my her family, our family, I guess, treated her like dirt. So if this is your, I don't know how old you are, but if this is your mother who's saying this, that then she's still dealing with that. There's still
Right.
some parts of her that probably feel like dirt. And I
Mhm.
and I and I believe here, oh wait, she may feel like you were deflecting from her saying, trying to
Right.
express how she
That's why
feels.
she's asking for the apology because
Because
the
she's
goal
probably saying, I'm expressing to you, and I don't
exactly
know,
the goal of you to tell me I'm treating you this way because of certain situations
when I'm
when
telling
you
you
can
how they treated me.
exactly. Yeah.
Mm, I like that double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Wow. And for our viewers, if you have something on that, please share with us because that was deep for me.
Yeah. We just
Um,
have to, man, we have to get to the point to where in these days and times and in this climate, especially dealing with the past, when you know that person will not set their pride aside, will not place their pride down to apologize. And if you were wrong and they know they wronged you and things went left, you're gonna have to be okay with that and move forward. You have to find a way to get over that hump. Because
that
you're not gonna get
reminds
that
me of,
apology. Most of the time you're not gonna get that apology. It's not gonna
you know
happen.
what? One of the and this came from my son. It was about a very oh gosh, I should say soft place, a very I'll say soft, but I'll also use the word one of my strongholds. It's still one of my strongholds. It's still something that I deal with often. And my son said these words to me. He said, "You cannot get mad at someone who is in a wheelchair and cannot walk. You cannot get mad if someone is in a wheelchair and he's not walk. It's like I can't get mad if he can't walk. If he is in a wheelchair diagnosed with not being able to walk,
Perfect way to
you
put it.
cannot get mad at him. And some people, you guys, I won't say they never will. Um, but some people are in that wheelchair and they've diagnosed themselves as not being able to walk.
They're not gonna be able to come out of it. So I totally
Right.
agree with Brandon. That's a great analogy, Brandon.
Yeah, so and so often, just imagine that. Imagine. And it's hard to do, especially like in the case where our comment, um, it's hard to do that, especially when it's your mom, your dad,
That's a
someone,
tough thing.
especially your mom and dad. I'll just leave it there because your mom and dad, there's so much expectation that come with that, but we have to know that they're human too.
Here's the thing. I'll get a little transparent here for a second. I'll go into since we talked about the four horsemen earlier, I'll go into a little bit of that, right? So my mother always had trouble with my siblings and the way that they always catered to my stepmother and all that stuff and how they was also nice and all this other stuff. And my mother dealt with that for many years, how she was treated by the entire family and the things that they did to get and acquire some of the things they have. And my brothers didn't know how to navigate through both sides. They played defense a lot. They played defense a lot until it hurt my mother
Mm,
because she couldn't understand it because she was still in pain. But for me, I navigated through it better than, let's just say, better than my siblings. I wanted my mother to feel comfortable because I knew she was still dealing with certain things because she and I, like, that was like my best friend. She would tell me everything. So I was not going to hurt my mother knowing that she still was troubled by these things because she didn't get her apology until 8 hours before Big Will's death.
mm-hmm.
And that was 50 years later. So our apology didn't come until 50 years
It is
and
on
eight
his
hours
deathbed.
before he passed.
Mm,
So I was very delicate of my mother's feelings and I understood exactly where she was coming from because she expressed it to me, not only to me, to my brothers as well. but they didn't have the tools and the knowledge to navigate through this in a healthy way. But one thing I was adamant about was like I am not gonna hurt her more. I'm not gonna pour more salt on the wound that's already there. It's not even healed.
Hmm.
So I get. Honestly, I get what the mother's saying. I get what the son is saying here. I totally get it. But for the brother, who if there's a brother, have a little grace and try to get a little understanding of your mother.
What do you do? And I want to get Mark's comments going. He has a couple. And Mark, maybe this is one for you too. What do you, and all of our listeners, what do you do when you feel you're graced out?
Pray.
How do you, or do you deal with people that you feel that they're toxic for you? Well,
Move
okay,
move
in this sense, if this is a toxic situation for our um listener, how do you deal with that? And it's people you love.
Well, as far as if it's his mother, that'd be very hard for me to move away from my mother like that. But you have to continue to give her grace and continue to try and understand where she's coming from. Try and place yourself in the pain of where she's sitting.
Mm,
So place yourself
mm.
there and then move forward. But you know, just try pray a little, give a little grace, a little more grace, because some people's scars are for a lifetime. The question is,
Mm.
do you walk with them for that entire lifetime to help them heal with those scars? So if that's like a
You know,
mother. If that's a mother or a sibling, you got to deal with them a little differently.
I've heard this, and I don't know if I'm going to say it quite how I heard it, but um, there's always a little, well, there's a little you in you trying to protect the big you.
I can agree with that.
And I remember my godmom saying that if we could just see people, adults, if we could just see them, just a glimpse of where you think they may have gotten stuck, like the things that have happened to them that has pierced their soul.
You would stay a
If
little
we
long.
could just see them in that place
You would stay a little longer.
and love, right, and just after we see them, love them from that place of
Right.
understanding the pain that they might be carrying. Always easier said than done. So you
This
guys, i'm just
conversation's
just
getting
putting
great.
it out there.
I'm gonna back out for a quick second. I'm gonna back out for a quick second. Gotta take some medication. But this guy, I don't
Okay,
want to.
I'm gonna read Mark's
I don't. That's cool. I don't want to
and then I
disconnect
will
because this is
we'll
getting
we'll
good.
we'll bring I'm loving this, and there's so much more to go. We might just come back with this next week, you
Okay.
guys.
One
But I'm gonna
second.
read Mark's comments because he's
Okay.
had some here. Okay. Um, and thank you again, Slash. So it's about respect, being open and honest in expressing love, self and others. In the 90s, they threw around keeping it real, but it's about keeping it right. I love that. Being accountable. The traits of following allows you to take the lead. The traits of following allows you to take the lead. I like that. But it's about keeping it right. I like that, Slash. That's deep. Um, let's see what else this Slash got for us. Okay. So Slash says life teaches us all lessons. That's the to only way to be evergreen. A plant turning brown is dying. One that's green. Some of this is cut off. Hold on, Slash. It got lost here. Let's see. Life teaches us all lessons. That's the only way to be evergreen. A plant turning brown is dying. Once that green is alive and living, like what, Slash? Like a resume? We must update our thinking and ways. I got that. Okay, so like a resume, we must update our thinking and ways. Oh, I love Slash. You're on point tonight. All right. Um, let's see. You got one more for us. And Lamar J. Focus says, "Amen." Slash. Amen. Mark. Mark is slash. Slash is Mark. You guys. Let's see. Let's bring this one up so we can read it. Why is this blocking my view here? This stuff must be good because we're just getting all kind of technical difficulties. So graced out, like I said above, it's about respect, loving self. Started with ridding ourselves of self inflicted wounds in life, love, and relationships. Quitting while your head is not the same as quitting. Mm. Amen. I'm with you there. Good stuff, Slash. Keep on bringing you on and popping tonight. And as you see there, Lamar J. Focus says, Amen, Mark. So, um,
Okay.
okay. What just happened here?
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I'm just trying to
Share
figure
link.
out. Um, I don't know why I started hearing you here. That's
Because
weird.
you're still open on the other one.
But I mean, I didn't touch anything since you left. So, and it's muted, but it's all good. We're going to work to come to a close anyway.
Good stuff.
I'm just happy we were able to. Let me close this out.
There we go.
I'm happy that we were able to do this tonight. And there's, like I said, there's so much more, you guys. This is like understanding your emotions, or even just tapping into it, just saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to pay attention to how I react versus how I respond. When is it easier for me to react? And then ask yourself why. What are you trying to protect yourself from? Are you finding, or do you find some common denominators? Is in the denominator may be a person, it may be a feeling that you feel, um, and start trying to get to the root of those things so that you can first have an understanding of your default. Why is it your default? Where are you stuck? What traumatic experience are you reliving over and over and over and over and over again to the point where you're bringing it into your present? Because I know this sounds cruel sometimes, but you guys, we hear that word trauma. It exists. I get it. I know I've had traumatic experiences. Um, but I have to tell myself, I had them. They existed. They're gone. They're dead. I'm keeping it alive within me. I'm keeping it alive. I went out to the grave and I dug it up. And then daily I just keep digging it up. Imagine that. Imagine it. So the things that happen to you, they're no longer, in most cases, they're no longer happening to you.
Right.
So if they seem close and near, and if it's the reason or causing you to react to situations, to have a default reaction, rather than a healthy response, like my granddaughter, Grandma, what about me? Grandma, what about me? I hope y'all hear that all day. Grandma, what about me? And challenge yourself to ask. Maybe it be your mom, maybe it's your husband, your friend. Maybe there's a question that you could have asked or can ask to let them know how you were feeling, how they made you feel. And again, just because they made you feel that way, it doesn't mean that that was their intention. doesn't mean that at all. Doesn't mean it wasn't either. But how do you know if you don't ask? If you don't express yourself and how you feel? So take accountability and responsibility for your feelings, what you need, why you need it. And sometimes just saying to someone, you know, the adult Kitsali could have said, maybe I could have asked the adult Kitsali, why did you feel left out? Because I just thought you knew how to do it. But imagine that in adult situations, you're out, your buddies and friends, and it seems like your buddy is giving more attention to your other buddy and you feel left out, like he's acting funny or whatever. It may have had nothing to do with you. So imagine if you had asked. That's another mark on you. That's another level of rejection now that you've added to the already rejection. So we've gone over. I said I was going to only be on here an hour. So you guys, I'm going to bring this one back just for a little bit. We won't spend another hour and a half on it for sure, but I just feel like it's undone. There's notes that I have not gotten to. So we'll bring it back and talk more about how, what do you do? What are some of the things? We'll just maybe talk about solutions. What can we do? How can we hold ourselves accountable? And maybe get an accountability partner where we can always call and say, this happened today. This is
Exactly.
how it made me feel. What do you think about that?
I'll say this for your next broadcast. I'll say this for the next broadcast. The only way we could do that and what we do when we get to the solution, we have to stop that play button, stop, get it off a replay. We have to stop that play button, get it off a replay. Because we're replaying everything that's happened to us in the past and fast forward into our future. Got to stop
I
the
so
replay.
agree. I so agree. That's a good one. That's write it down. You guys, I'm gonna say this and we're gonna get out of here. Please, 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 please. I would rather have one person, one listener that does the work than have 1,000 and
Right.
nobody does it. Like nobody goes, like you just hear, you get it, you chew it, but you don't swallow it. You don't swallow it, you don't digest it.
I think you're gonna like Mark's comment. You might want to get
What did
that.
Mark say? What did Mark say?
Barely see it, but
Oh, you missed it. We've we've gotten through all of that. Wait, did
oh,
Mark say something else?
he said something new there. Yeah.
Oh, yes, he did. Mark's on a roll tonight. I don't know why he wants to
Yeah.
continue to stay on the other side of the panel. He says we've been educated and taught to react and respond. The newer way of communication is to listen to learn. Truth without grace is just being mean. Grace without truth is meaningless. Speak the truth in love.
There it
Hmm.
is.
You know what? Speak the truth in love. That's a whole plate right there and dessert. Um, but that speak the truth in love, you guys get it out. Don't be constipated with words, man. I've been there, done that, and I'm still growing in that area. But I'm seeing God push me in a greater way in that area. Like I'm truly so Mark, you was speaking to me on that one. Like you gotta say it. You gotta say it. You may have to determine when, where, how, but get that truth out. Get your truth out.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna read that one again and we'll get out of here. We've been educated and taught to react and respond. The newer way of communication is to listen to learn. Truth without grace is just being mean. Grace without truth is meaningless. Speak the truth in love. Great stuff, Slash. Great stuff. So, with that being said, you guys, um, I almost want to say for sure, um, we'll come back with a little bit more on this, but I might. If not, we'll push it back one just because I have some other things scheduled, have some people scheduled. Um, so, do you have anything to add to tonight's topic or
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
okay? Okay. Y'all, it's been great. Been great. Thank you guys for your patience. Excited, excited, excited. We're going to take some calls next week. So we're going to put it out there how, if you have a comment or a question, you can call in and you can speak your truth slash you can call in.
Good
We'll have you
stuff.
try it next week.
Good stuff. Good
Okay.
stuff.
All right, you guys, be great. Thank you. Much love to you. Go out and do the work. Please go look in that mirror. Don't walk away and forget what you saw. Do the work. Visit the mirror daily, consistently. Do the work.
Yeah, I think what I miss in my medication break on by going to on demand, shameless plug, on demand on b2gunitytv.com. Um, Relationship Table Talk will be streaming in about an hour. So I'm gonna check it out myself. I want you guys to join me over there on the Roku stick and join me by checking it out as well. Good stuff.
I could have sworn I had the website here to put out there, but you guys can b2gunitytv.com.
.com.
So apologize for that. So, all right, you guys. Wait, wait, wait. We have a comment. Don't want to leave without good night. Salam. All right.
I see you,
Okay.
Slash.
Good night, Slash. Thank you. Thank you. You brought up some great comments. Lamar J. Focus. Thank you for, gosh, just being authentic, allowing us to come into your world. So we'll be praying for you and your mom.
Good stuff.
Keep us updated, and I don't know. I don't
Those
know.
relationships that kind of tugged to my heart when he said mother, and you know how I was about my mother. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna actually encourage him to work that out. It's an imperative that you do. You'll feel so much better,
Mm.
and she'll feel so much better as well. So good stuff, man.
It's so easy to say, work it out, man. Man. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
But do like
Yeah.
Slash, just do like Slash say, do it in love. Sometimes we have to bite that bullet and do it in love.
But and I get it. I get it. But sometimes both people are in the wheelchair.
That's true. So that which means that if you find that the other party is in the wheelchair and they refuse to get out of their wheelchair, you got to start walking, brother. And you got to start walking and start pushing until they can do better. If you love them like that,
So push them in love, huh?
that is.
Mm.
That is.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Okay, that one was heavy. So,
Oh yeah.
but hey, you know, it's
That's what
life.
hey, that's what the platform is about, right?
Life.
Being better together, doing things better together.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
she don't know how to communicate, walk her into communication, or will her into communication. So gracefully.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
You know what? And I promise we're gonna get out of here. I just thought about something. Um, particularly, and we brought this up, that mom may have been thinking, you don't care because I just shared with you how I was being treated and you made it about you. So I'm just saying that I could just imagine that happening, or that person um, processing it that way. So maybe in situations like this or conversations like this, maybe we should be mindful, and when the person is sharing a process of their pain, or allowing us to see, then maybe the questions at that time should be about their healing.
Yeah.
Like, what, I'm sorry that they treated you that way.
I guarantee you should have been
Make
more
sure
receptive.
I want to make sure that I don't make you feel like dirt. Is there
That's right.
something that I'm doing that's continuing to make you feel like that? So I just thought about that. Like, and that's hard to do, you guys, when you need, especially when it's a parent, it's hard to do or to give what you feel you need and deserve. But just remember that our parents are people too. They're human. They have pain like us. They've been a child like us. They have traumatic childhood experiences. Um, so, and maybe with anybody, if somebody is saying, this is what happened to me, then maybe we shouldn't make it about us
Yeah.
at that time, at that time, at that time. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you guys. Let's get out of here because it will be 10 o'clock and I need to eat and I need to
Look,
go to bed. Oh,
you're proving my point. Thank you so much.
it's the menopause. You guys, you no, not you
Ladies and
guys.
gentlemen, this
Y'all
lady
don't know.
just ate probably 4 or 5 hours ago.
It's the menopause. It
Okay.
everybody experiences it different. For me, I'm always hungry.
As long as I've known this
Always.
woman, as long as I've known this woman, she eats, 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 and never gain a pound. She's still the same size from the time I met her.
Now it's different this time around. Now I like to eat, but this time around, eating is my language.
That's
I'm
hilarious.
so serious. Like I wake up in the middle of the night hungry and I get up
Eat
and
some
eat.
fruit, man. Grab some fruit or
I did like pecans last night. I had some real pecans.
something. Man,
Um and it satisfied me, but that's good because I used to wake up and eat a whole meal and go right back to bed. But I don't now. I don't now. But I do have to get something. But I'm I'm not sorry. I mean, menopause. I didn't cause that. Oh, I didn't put that on me. So can't do anything about it.
that's right. Great show, man. Great show.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. Thanks again, everyone. It's just been a wonderful discussion.
Very
And I
interesting.
want those words to ring in your tomorrow. Grandma, what about me? She had tears and her little voice was shaking. Grandma, what about me? All right. So I want you to say, what about you? Make sure you take care of yourself.
Good stuff.
All right. Great night, great people.